This is like a suicide mission for me. No, Janneil, don't put it anywhere she didn't tell you to put it.
It's looking good. You doubted me, huh? When I put that foundation on.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl JANNEIL Pilgrim, and I'm the friend that tells you the truth about your makeup. So if you want to learn more about makeup, if you want to learn all of the hacks and someone to tell you what not to do and what you're supposed to be doing, go ahead and click the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications so you can be notified when I post a new video. Today's video, we're continuing the series where I recreate some of your favorite black creators' makeup. Today's video, we're going to be doing Arnell Armon, and this is one of my personal favorites as well, so I'm so happy that you guys requested. Even though I don't like to deviate, this is going to be really fun. So let's get into the video.
First things first, I have to moisturize my skin. You guys already know the drill. I'm using my Clinique moisturizers. I use two different ones. I just mix them. I use the lotion and the jelly, and I mix them both. I have the orange and green cartridges, but you don't have to get those colors. Just get what works for your skin. This works for mine, so that's what I use. And I moisturize the hell of my skin because that is key to having a flawless makeup base.
I'm so happy that she says that I can use whatever I want to use, because that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use my Pond's Clarant B3 moisturizer. She uses a cream based moisturizer and a gel moisturizer, so the gel is more like water based. I don't have a water based moisturizer. I have a cream based one. No, I just like the creams better on my skin. I think it works better for me. The only one that I like is the Neutrogena. Is it Neutrogena Hydro Boost? But that's really expensive, guys. Like, I can't buy that all the time. These straps are annoying me, but y'all are just gonna pretend that you don't see them, because that's what I'm gonna do.
I don't remember falling asleep, but I know I fell asleep late. And I was crying last night. Good cries. I don't know why, but I've been so emo the last 2 days. I don't know what's wrong with me. I mean, I'm always emo, so let me shut up. Okay. So the prime, I'm using my favorite primers. It's by ColorFX. It's getting old, but I still use it. It's definitely been over a year since I got this. It's their blurring primer. I used to only use it on my T-zone area, but I kind of like it just over my whole face. You guys see the difference when I put it on. But it literally kind of mattifies you. It just gives you a really nice.
So since she's using a mattifying, yo, these straps are annoying me. They're annoying me. Since she used a mattifying blurring kind of primer, this seems to be a cream based primer and not like a gel based one like Milk Hydro Grip. So I'm going to use my NYX Angel Veil primer. She uses it all over her face and she rubs it in with her hands. As you can see, this primer is a mattifying primer. You can see that the shine on my skin is gone.
For foundation, I've also been using ColorFX, and I've used this foundation before. This is my favorite foundation maybe 2 years ago, I feel like. With foundations, I rotate them, so I'll have a favorite one for maybe 2-3 weeks, then I'll change it out because my skin will get used to it and I have to switch it up. So currently I've been using this one. Oh my god, am I getting empty? I've been using the hell out of this. And I'm in the shade N80. I used to get G80s, so the G's for golden. However, I peeped that it would oxidize on me and I'll look a little green. And it'd be just too yellow. I'm not that golden, so I'm more neutral. So I get N80. I feel like ColorFX, they offer a lot of different shades. It's damn near impossible to not find your shade. Is that right? You can find your shade in ColorFX. But if you feel if you think you're golden and you get G and oxidize it, just get the neutral one and it'll work.
She uses a liquid foundation from ColorFX. I don't have that, so I'm just gonna use my Maybelline Fit Foundation. I don't feel like wasting my money because I can't do testers. Because Sephora and them places are not open because we're on a lockdown. I don't trust online testing, so I'm not gonna waste my money. She puts it on the back of her hand. Y'all are not gonna get me to do that because I hate when makeup gets on my hand. I do not like it. So wait.
Wait a minute.
I feel like none of you guys color correct, and I don't like that. She uses the flat part of a sponge. Now, I don't have any of those sponges. I'm just going to use a regular beauty sponge, like this one. And I'm going to use the bottom. I'm going to use the bottom of the beauty sponge. By the way, guys, my Maybelline foundation is in the color 334, so that's warm sun. So if you're my complexion with a yellow undertone, you could start there as a reference. I hate when I have to do it like this. I feel like I just don't get a lot of coverage, and I don't love that for me, because I could still... Can you guys see the spots?
After I blew in a sponge, I buffed out with a brush. Wow, I look nuts. Wow, this is not a good start. But I do this every single day, so I know what I'm doing.
I'm going to assume that, you know, that brush is a little bit wet, because there's no way. So I'm going to squeeze out any excess water there is in my beauty blender. I don't even have enough coverage. This is like a suicide mission for me. I think she means like if you use a more full coverage foundation. Because with a dewy or sheer foundation, you don't need to do as much buffing as you would need to do if you're wearing a full coverage or a matte foundation. I'm going to use my Real Techniques brush, but as you can see, there's barely anything coming off on the brush, which means most of that is already pressed in. But she says that she goes back and forth with the sponge and the brush. I don't want to buff anymore because I already don't have enough coverage, so let me just stop that and see what she does next.
To conceal, I've been using two different concealers. I've been using this Fenty concealer in the shade 320, which is more like a red undertone. As you can see, it's really light.
I'm not using it.
It was going to like balance out this foundation. Foundation matches my neck, so that's all that matters to me. Because once I like highlight and everything, like it all comes together.
I'm not doing that.
So I'm gonna bug it out. But I'm gonna use it on my forehead.
I'm not gonna do that to myself because I don't have a red undertone. So, you know, I'm gonna use my regular Maybelline Fit Me foundation. She uses a Fenty Beauty concealer. I don't have any of those yet. I'm in the color 30, which is honey, for the Maybelline concealer. She puts the wand on her face. If you guys know me, you know I hate that. And she uses a generous amount. She uses it on her chin like so, on her forehead, like I could see this working for her, but I do not see this working for me. I think she blends her under eyes last, which would make sense if you want more coverage. I also do that in my routine. This concealer on my forehead though, we're gonna make this work. We're gonna make this work. Do you see how far that blended out? No, Janneil, don't put it anywhere she didn't tell you to put it. I'll finish up with this eye. Guys, on camera it looks so much more exaggerated than it actually is in real life.
Next, I take my Kevyn Aucoin concealer, and this is the shade SX06. And I take very little and dab that on just to bring that. I've been combining those two concealers lately, and it just looks really good to me. I like how it looks, and I've kind of like mastered how much product to use, because like before I used a little bit too much of the Kevyn Aucoin. And I've noticed I just need very little to get what I need to get done. And it looks too bright right now, but once I set my under eye, like, it's going to get toned down so much, which is why I go brighter than I need to.
She dabs her sponge on the concealer. What I'm going to use is my Too Faced Blend This Way concealer, and this is in the color Sand. She uses a much lighter concealer, and she dabs her sponge. So I'm going to dab my sponge on the tip of it like so. And then place a little. She says that she's mastered the amount that she's used, right? So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take heed and use a small amount as well. Alright, now I'm scared.
Now to set the place I conceal, I'm gonna use my Laura Mercier translucent powder. if I could get some out. Okay, layer that and really press it in. See, it's looking good. You doubted me, huh? When I put that foundation on. Thought I didn't know what I was doing.
I'm not doubting you right now, because you obviously know what you're doing on your face, but I'm not myself right now. Alright, so guys, I'm going to use... The only powder that I have with a similar consistency is a Sasha Buttercup setting powder. My under eyes look really, really bright. I don't know, this stuff never worked for me. All she says is that she presses it in, so what I'm going to do is... I'm gonna use like the same amount of powder on both sides and press it in to every area, and she like goes over it with seconds. That's just like round one. Guys, so far I do not like this technique. I feel like I'm missing spots. Hopefully in due time I'll get to like it a little bit more.
Alright, to set my entire face, I'm gonna use my MAC skin or mineralized skin finish. And I used to shade dark only because they were out of the shade I typically use, which is medium dark. That's my shade. But this like powder is so like translucent that like you can get away with using a shade darker or lighter. But obviously, you know, if you're gonna pay for it, get your exact shade. It's just when I went, I was so like anxious to get the powder because I hadn't used it in a while and I remember how much I liked it. So when she told me she had my shade, I was like, I'll have to get the shade next to it because I really enjoy this powder. And I used to use it all the time when I worked for MAC, so.
She uses a powder that's basically her skin tone. It's a finishing powder, but it's a pressed one by MAC. I'm going to be using my Mary Kay loose finishing powder. This is one close to my skin tone. She uses a brush to basically buff everything in. She did her eyebrows off camera, so I just went ahead and did mine as well off camera. Because of the brow technique that I used, that was actually really, really easy for me. So I might be doing this a lot more often, but if you don't want to know what I'm talking about, I'm going to put the link below for my eyebrow tutorial so you can get it done. Okay.
This video is sponsored by Vesca. They came out with a range of bronzers that I talked about at the beginning of the video. My two shades are Kissed by Dye. I hope this. I know these are after countries. I've never heard this country before. The Diani and Santorini. I've heard of that before. Okay, so I'm gonna use both. Where is my brush? Oh, it's right here. So I use Diani on my cheeks and like my face, and then Santorini on my nose because it's like a lighter, like more cooler bronzer shade.
I've told you guys before that I don't have a bronzer, like a bona fide bronzer, but I've been checking out Vesca Beauty, and I think more likely I'm gonna get a bronzer from them because I really like their bronzers. I've been seeing everybody talk about it. This just happened, I kid you not. Maybelline, I have the Maybelline City bronzer, right? Only because the she uses like an angled, a fluffy angled brush. That's what I'm gonna do. Let me take my little time. I don't like when makeup makes a mess. I hate it. I like my area very clean. So she puts it on her cheek, right? And she says that she doesn't use a lot. Just realized that she didn't do cream contour. That's wild.
Oh my god! Okay. No biggie. Just buff that out. But these smell so good. You need very little. Don't go OD like me. But I also like bronzer, so. It just creates a really nice, warm, soft look. Put it on my forehead. I like putting bronze on my forehead when my hair is pulled back in a ponytail. One, makes my forehead smaller. Two, it just looks all bronzy and cute. I don't know why. I just like how it looks. And I'm gonna put, so look at, when I used to like bronze underneath my chin or my jawline,
do
I
look
put
bronzy?
the whole thing. However, in photos, obviously I face tune in, but like you can see that it's ugly. So I only put it directly on my chin now because it still creates a shadow and creates, you know, more definition. But you can't see that. Whereas if you put it all over here, if you don't, even if you blends out really, really good, you can still tell you put it there. Like I've seen it on me and others. So
it does a motion like this. Maybe she knows what she's talking about. I can't leave this part disconnected like she does because it doesn't look right on me. So let me just connect that little bald area because it's showing up more now that I've highlighted my forehead. But Maybelline, get your life, because a brand new bronzer and it broke all the way up. So Maybelline, you guys need to get your life, because what?
now for my nose, I'm going to take my nose contour brush and use a little bit of Santorini. And okay, I'm using Mirror Has in here. And go really softly. I like to define this little tip of my nose too. I don't know why, it looks really cute in photos though. And sometimes I'll like put like a little line right here because it makes my nose look more bun-like. I don't know if you guys tell.
She just runs this down the sides of her nose. I'm not sure if I don't think she connects it. And she says she does like the tip of her nose. And then she does this little button effect thing where she places it across her nose. Yeah guys, I mean that's it. I could see the effect that she's going for though. I have a shade on this palette that looks like Kiss by Cabo, and this is a BH Cosmetics palette, but I don't remember the name of the palette. And as you can see, I broke off the cover, but I haven't used this in such a long time. I've used this on the channel before. I'm sorry I'm talking fast, but this color is close to the Kiss by Cabo. So what I'm gonna do and apply that to my eyelids. I don't remember priming my lids. And she doesn't say that if she did on her thing. The fact that my eyelids are dual tone is giving this a really pretty kind of ombre effect. I love that for me.
This is called Face Palette, right? Yeah, Face Transformation Palette by Dragon Beauty. Now, I used to only use the yellow shade, but I like the pink shade because it gives me the brightness without looking like OD. Like, it does what it needs to do without being too much. Sometimes I'll mix them if I really, really want like a bright under eye. But the pink shade does its job, and it's crazy because usually like I wouldn't use that, but because I've determined or discovered that I'm more like neutral, I've been like using more like shades like pink undertones, and I really like how it looks on my face.
I don't have that palette. I've never bought anything from Dragon Beauty, but I'm gonna use this NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop setting powder. She's like a brightening kind of palette. Basically just goes over what she sets with a much pointier brush than this, but I don't have that kind of stipple brush, so I'm gonna use this one. And she says that she does it to give her like a brightening effect. She doesn't look like she uses a lot, so I'm going to use barely anything. She goes over the areas that she highlighted. You can see that it's starting to look brighter, right? But at the same time, this is a lot for me.
See what difference that makes? Looks crazy. Once I set my
see the
face,
difference.
it totally all comes together.
I see the difference.
Get my nose, then I'll go underneath my bronzer lightly. It looks crazy, yes I know, but
it does look crazy on me. She does like a slight reverse contour. She barely does a reverse contour. That should cut it, right? I'm not gonna lie, I just think I look so ashy. She goes over it with that same brush that she used with the finishing powder. I'm not sure if that is helping. I don't like it.
Alright, now I'm gonna set using my Too Faced Hangover Setting Spray.
I'm gonna set using my NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray. Finally. this is what I've been waiting for. This is exactly what I've been waiting for, just to set my face so I could see if I look less crazy.
I love how that bronze looks on my forehead. I love a bronze forehead. It's just a lot of times I can't do it because I wear wigs and I do not put no bronzer by my lace because it looks crazy, but like
I look crazy.
I love it. For blush, I think this is one of my MAC called Fleur Power, or maybe it's Flower Power, I don't know. And
oh my god, yes!
It's very nice natural blush. Prefer it like every day, not too rosy. Of course, like if I want to make it more rosy and more pigmented, I could just add more, but usually I wash that. Put a little bit on my nose too. You guys know the drill.
Finally, someone in this series that uses blush. So I'm going to use my Coastal Scents palette. I'm going to use this rose pink. She says that she uses a rose pink kind of color. So this is the one that I'm going to use. I'm so happy because you guys know that I live for blush. Look at that. My face looks... Look at my face with blush and my face without blush. Like with blush, hello. Without blush, I mean hey, if you're into that. Sometimes I really do go overboard, but that's fixable. All you have to do is just use that same brush that you applied either translucent powder with or setting powder, and it will just go right back to normal.
Super OD with highlighter lately, so I'm not gonna go crazy with it, just enough so it's there. I'm using this Milk highlighter. It's a flex highlighter in the shade Lit. Put too much on for my liking. A little bit.
Lashes from my brand.
Forehead. You guys know the drill. Yeah, looks good. Put a little bit on my kneesy. Alright, cool. I don't want to like do too much.
I did my eyelashes as well as my lips off camera to mimic the kind of look that she was doing. Now I'm going to use my BH Cosmetics Wild and Radiant Baked Illuminating and Bronzing palette. No, I don't know what they were thinking when they did this, because this in no way could bronze me. All of these are highlight colors, but she used a highlighter with a pinkish undertone, and I don't know if you can see it on camera, but that would be... On camera, it's this one for me. I'm not sure what you guys are seeing. She's like a fluffy blending brush to highlight, and she doesn't use a lot. And she highlights like right there. It looks like a lot on camera, but in person, y'all should see the small amount. I don't know if I should recommend this. If you're lighter than me, go right on ahead. But if you're darker than me, I don't think so, because I don't know how to explain it, but I don't really like them that much. Hence why I rarely ever use them. And I'm gonna put some right here on my nose like she did. Can you guys see anything? The tip of my nose like she did. Sorry. And again on the bridge. And then she did a little bit right here over her brow, like a small amount over her brow, which I didn't understand because, you know, it's just like right there. I don't know, but that's what she did. That's basically it for her look. So this is the final close-up of the skin and how everything looks. Tell me what you guys think before I go into telling you guys what I think. So tell me what you think before I talk to y'all. I'm gonna give y'all like 5 seconds. Alright, here are my thoughts on this look. So first off, how much would I rate it out of 10? I would give it basically a 5 for more reasons than 1, because I just don't like the entire process. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of my dark areas on my face, and I don't love that for me, and that's my fault too because of the foundation that I use. So I probably should have used a more full coverage foundation, but I just don't like the powdering method. I don't have a problem with doing my brows after doing my base, but I just don't like the powdering method. I love the eyeshadow, but just the overall look is not speaking to me that much. I don't know why. It looks really good on her, but it just doesn't do it for me. In person, I feel like this would look really off. So I'm just... yeah. Is this look beginner friendly? I would think because of the amount of the concealer that she used to. I think that's it. The amount of concealer that she used, I would think not. If you're a beginner, that's a lot of concealer for you, and you have to really know how to blend it out. I'm familiar with how to blend out my concealer properly, and I still don't like the final look. So that would be an issue. But I think if you're more advanced, that this method would be okay for you. If you're down with that amount of concealer and using like a brightening powder after you use a setting powder. It was more powders, less cream products, so you know, less control. I feel like if you're a beginner and you're contouring, you should definitely use cream products, because when you use powders, whenever you use powders, whatever goes on, whatever you put on stays on. So if you put on too much, all of that is gonna stay all the way on there. So I believe that for beginners, you should recommend more cream products. But as for me, I just didn't like the method. Is it a nice deviation from my makeup routine? Yes, I would say that it is. I don't think I've ever done my eyebrows after doing my base before, and it wasn't even hard. I think in fact it was actually easier. I like the eyeshadow, how she does like the simple eyeshadow, and the blush. The last point that we check here is the flashback, and you guys know that this is going to determine if I continue to do my face like this or not. It doesn't look as bad as I expected it to be, but in person I just don't like how my face looks. My face just looks very powdery, and I don't love that for me. So I think that's one thing to consider if you're going to try this method. So guys, remember to comment down below and tell me if you actually like the final look more than I do, and if you're going to try this method, what do you think? Do you think my comments were insightful? Comment other black influencers or black creators that you'd like to see me recreate their method of doing makeup. Let me know down in the comments if you do your face like this. Remember to like this video, remember to subscribe, remember to share with your family and friends as well, and I'll see you guys in the next video.